Yes, YouTube world, peace and blessings. It's been a little hot minute since I hit you up with a video. Anyway, I'm going to get straight into it. Today I want to talk about masculine and feminine energy, right side and left side thinking. Because that's all it really boils down to. See, the right side of the mind, the right side of the brain is the feminine, is the creative side. And the left side is the logical side. Now, men, our energy, because we are masculine, we're men, we more tend to attach more to the logical side. Where women, they come from the creative side. Not saying that we both don't balance between the two. It's just that we have been manipulated by the world to more attach to our logical side of thinking. Where women naturally attach more to the creative side, but they obviously have the logical side as well. That's how they, because the logical side is a tool to get things done. It's a tool. Yeah, when you got to plan things out and get things, that's your logical mind. Yeah, I got to wake up in the morning, I got to do this, and then I'm going to do this afterwards. That's logical. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you have a plan, first of all, it's going to come from the love. It's going to come from the heart. Something you love to do. You're going to think of this thing you're passionate about. It comes from the heart first. You love doing it. It's music. Then you got to get the tools. You got to get the instruments. So that's when the mind comes in now. The logical side. Okay, I've got to get the money together to go and buy this and that to get the equipment so I can start doing what I love. That's it. That's what it is. That's the difference between the masculine and feminine. What we call is the logical side, the logical and the creative side. Now, as men, we have been manipulated to stay in the logical thinking. Even though me, naturally, I was tuned in to the creative side. I was always tuned into that. But I still got trapped in the logical because I am a man. And it's easier for us to get entrapped into that. So that's why they made this world into a man's world and made it that men are superior, because then this energy will become the driving energy of the planet. Because if men are perceived to be superior at the top, then everybody's going to see what men are, how we operate and how we do things must be the right way to do it. You know what I'm saying? The females will think, well, that's the way we got to operate. Because these guys are superior, they're at the top. So that must be the way to operate. But it isn't, because that's why we're in the mess that we're in. But because we have this ability, because females have to carry the baby. So their natural state is going to be the nurturing state. Because when they're pregnant, it's very important for the baby to be in a loving, nurturing vessel. That's not in anger and just in a nurturing state. There's nothing illogical, just in the heart space. And that's why the man will be there as the partner to do the logical stuff, to run around and do the, you know what I'm saying? Because the female now has to do the nurturing, has to keep herself in that state, that place of relax, that place. That's why females will get like that when they're pregnant. They won't look after themselves. They slow down. So that's why their natural state will be that. That's why it's easier for them to stay in tune. They have a beautiful connection with the divine. Naturally, that's their natural state. We have it as well, but you see, because we are males and we can attach to the logical side easier. So now if they manipulate the world and then we think we're these superior guys, and because obviously the whole world is trapped in a logical way of thinking. We pretend that we're good, you know, like we don't need any help from anyone, I'm strong. So then us men now, we attach to that because we're men, and all the men that came before us act like that. You see what I'm saying? So when we're kids, we see that as that's the way it's meant to be. Even though when you see a man, a male and a female child, they're exactly the same. When it comes to emotions and crying over things, there's no difference. If anything, sometimes I feel like the boys can even be more emotional, but that's another story. But anyway, so where did this change come from? Children at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 express emotions the same way, boy and girl. But then all of a sudden, when we get to a certain age now, we start getting told that you can't cry for things, you can't express emotions like that. Wipe your tears, be a man. We get that message, even if it's not said directly like that, but we feel like that. You see what I'm saying? That's what's put onto us from a very young age, and it's damaging. It's held us down. Every single man out there, I know, you got that message from your dad, from the men you was around, from wherever, that we had to be, you know what I'm saying? We couldn't show that. Because there's certain times that we did show it when we was young, we either got shouted at or shut down or told to, you know what I'm saying? So obviously now we think, well, that's weak on a subconscious level. Even if you don't think this in your mind anymore, you see, because if you got shut down from a young age and you was vibrating that for 15, 20 years, even if you logically now have come to a realization like, raw, that's not the way to be. I have to come from the heart space certain time. I have to, you still habitually, when you come up to situations when things arise, you're gonna go back to that habit of shut off and come from that place, that logical place with no heart, that place where it's like you're always attacking somebody. It's like you're a persecutor. So then it's hard for us to get things sorted out when we operate in that, because whenever we're trying to sort something out or trying to address something, we always come from a place of aggression. So how can, because if someone comes to me with aggression, like especially in my lower self, I'm gonna respond in the same way, or I'm gonna, you ain't gonna get what you want from me. Simple as that. You see what I'm saying? So basically, it's not gonna work. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's not gonna work. You're not gonna resolve the situation. So that's why, hence why all the war and all the things that's going on in the world, because it's a man's world, and we all operate in this logical way of thinking. Well, if I can't see it, it's not there. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. That's the kind of mind state that we've been taught to think from. Even though we have this feminine side, we have this, of course we're connected to the heart. That's where the creation comes from. When you feel like you want to create something, creation is coming from the heart. It never comes from the mind first. It's something that you really want to do in here, and then the thoughts come, and then you start creating, co-creating. That's why we're the co-creators of our reality. It all starts in here. When we was babies, we was all the same, boys and girls. If we was upset, we cried. If we was hungry, we cried. If we was happy, we laughed and smiled in front of anyone. You see what I'm saying? There was no hiding the feeling. Oh, I find that funny, but I'm not going to laugh right now because other people ain't laughing. Oh, I'm upset, but I'm going to tell people that I'm all right because I think it's weak. You see, where did that come from? Because babies didn't do it, kids didn't do it. They tell you exactly how they feel. They express it in front of everybody. But then you see it when they start getting a little bit older, they start shutting it down a little bit because of us, because they've seen how we operate, and they're starting to become programmed. You see, that's how it works. So this is the problem between the masculine and feminine. You see, we see this side as weak, but it's a part of all of us, and it's a part that we got to embrace. And then we won't get to happiness, fulfillment, peace, love, joy, our natural state, staying stuck in that logical, egotistical way of thinking. And we all know it deep down, but it's the courage, it's having the courage to actually openly start doing things and start operating in that vibration without worrying what people think and what's going to happen and what the outcome's going to be. Because the world doesn't know it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want to say it. And there's a few of us that will say it, but I believe a lot of people know it, and it's just the courage of actually making the changes. Don't worry about what people think. Don't live your life worrying about what's going on in other people's heads. I'm telling you, that's just craziness. Because most of the time, people ain't even thinking about you. They're worried about what's going on in their life the same way you're worrying about yourself. They're doing the same thing. So there's no point in thinking that the world's thinking about you, and because you're not that important, really. We just got to get on with what we're doing and bring whatever expression we're meant to bring to this reality. You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem right now. That's what this is about. It's about the energy. The energy is the masculine and feminine energy, which is becoming balanced. because it's been held down from the fall of Atlantis, when we fell, because there was a time when we was, obviously you can see the evidence around the world, pyramids and stuff like that, where civilization was a lot more advanced than we are, and then we fell, and information got buried in higher realms, waiting for us to go through a lot of life experience, a lot of incarnations to get back to where we was and start remembering the information that we once forgotten. And that's what's happening. That's what this shift's about. Why do you think the government's main objective is always to keep you brainwashed and distracted from who you are, constantly watching TV shows and all this shit, social media, all the distractions, money chasing money, all of it, just to keep you distracted from discovering who you are? Why? What's this big thing? Why don't they want you to know who you are? Because you're a great eternal being that has eternal information stored in your soul. That once you activate and believe, and once you get in tune, these things are gonna come back, and that's why they're afraid of you. That's why they're afraid of me. You see? Because we're more powerful. It's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. We create everything on the outside. We just didn't know what was doing it. And then we start thinking the things that we're getting in our life are better than us, or we need this to make us something. Imagine that. And we created, we attracted it, but we just didn't know that we done it. And we're putting it above us. You're not meant to put nothing above your soul, not even your body. You're not your body. You're meant to look after and love your temple and make sure it's in alignment so you can stay in tune with your higher self. But you're not meant to worship it and think that you're better than other people because of certain aspects of your physical body. You see what I'm saying? That's worshipping the flesh. You're judging. So it's that time, man. It's that time to regain this balance. That part of us is not weak. The honest, true part of us coming from the heart space is not weak. That's actually the courageous part of us. That's the part of us that will speak our heart even in front of people who don't believe what you believe in, and you will still speak it. That is courage. That is not weak. It's more weak to be walking around your ego all day and to be pretending you're something you're not, but playing a character that you're not, and pretend harboring all these things because you think that it's weak to speak out. And really and truly, that is being weak, because now I'm walking around the world and you're hurting people and you're doing things to people and you're hurting your own loved ones with words, actions, whatever. And the only reason why you're doing it is because you think that it's weak for you to openly admit to yourself. It has to start with yourself, obviously. You don't go around openly admitting, you do it with yourself. This is self-forgiveness, being true to yourself. So you don't want to be true to yourself, so you walk around hurting people and you think that's a strength. That's weak, because you're hurting people. You're hurting people because you don't want to face yourself. You don't want to look in the mirror. So because I don't want to look in the mirror, I'm just going to hurt people for my whole life. That is weak. That's weak. Trust me, that's weak. So don't follow these manipulations that they've manipulated us to, because of all the music and the movies, that's got us entrapped in this certain way, and we can't come out of it. Listen, we all still have that. We have them abilities. You see what I'm saying? As men, we're going to hold them abilities. We're going to always be the protectors, the go-getters. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to be balanced with it. We're going to know how to nurture as well and be open about it, not be afraid, not feel like it's weak. It's a strength. You see what I'm saying? And you hold your children, you nurture them. You don't act how you be when you're talking to your friend. You see what I'm saying? If you didn't have that, it would be a problem. That would be a problem. So that's what this enlightening the masculine and feminine energy is about. See what I'm saying? We all have the heart and the mind. It's about enlightening the heart and the mind. You see what I'm saying? Coming from the heart space. But yeah, you got to have your logical mind. Obviously, and we're coming from a place now where we've been lost in our ego for years. So now when we come back to the truth, unlike before when we was in the truth, when we was naive, when we ain't naive like that no more, because we've been in the dark side ourselves. So now we come back to the truth. Now we know. We have our radar. We can see things from a mile off. So don't be afraid that people are going to walk all over you because you're in the truth now. Think that you're weaker than no. You're even stronger than you was before. Because you can see through things. You ain't going to let things happen. People ain't even going to be in your space that's not in alignment. And even if somebody tries to get in or whatever, you're going to, you trust me. Once you trust your intuition, you're going to be good. When you're in the mind now, that's when you get tricked. Because you're deceiving yourself of qualities you have in yourself, so you won't be able to pick it up in somebody else. Because you're not seeing it in yourself. So somebody else could come and deceive you and manipulate you, and like, because you might not see it coming because you have that quality within yourself, but you're choosing not to see it in yourself, so you can't see it in them either. That's why deceit is weak. Truth will set you free. So it's time to get that alignment back, people. Men, especially us men, because once we do it, you see, we'll have an impact. Because the females are now starting to attach to their masculine side, and they're letting go of their feminine side. They're suppressing their feminine side, if you notice in the world now. Because they're following us. They think it's how we act and operate is the way to be. So now that we've destroyed them subconsciously. This has been done to us from the manipulators. So I'm not taking all the blame at the same time, but we have to take some of the blame because we're the ones who are actively doing it. We have to wake up and take our power back and take our responsibility back and realize we have been manipulated. Admit that openly, we have been. And then once you admit that openly to yourself, then you can make the changes and see things for how they really are. Think about the females in your family, your mother, your sisters, your daughters. You see what I'm saying? Do we want this world the way it is for our daughters and for the next generation, the kids that are coming up? And for the boys that have to go through the suffering we went through, we have to suppress and hold things in for our whole entire life and turn into something that we're not. Angry, filled with anger because we've held in so much pain. Do we want that for the next generation? Because I don't want that for the next generation. That's why I do things like this. This ain't for me. This is for us, for the next generation. This is how I think. I'm not sitting there just thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the next generation and the generation after that. Because what we do and the foundations we set is gonna have an impact on what happens with them. So we gotta stop being selfish and just think about ourselves. Regain the balance. So that's my message, people. Hope you have a good day, and catch up soon. Peace and love. Take care.